Hello, everyone. Welcome to Southeastern 14 daily coverage of SEC sports, and it is college football season. We're about to kick off. Vanderbilt, as we're recording this, is going to be doing a week 0 game against Hawaii in just a couple of days. So it is time to go through the SEC and do our game-by-game predictions. Yes, we've done all the different look-aheads on the macro sense, but we're going to go game-by-game now with all the different teams. Today, it is the Alabama Crimson Tide. So let's jump right into it. But, guys, make sure real quick, hit that thumbs up button if you like the content, subscribe, turn on notifications when we go live, daily shows live, all kinds of good stuff right here on SEC Sports. That's football, baseball, and basketball. But let's get right to the Alabama Crimson Tide and their game-by-game predictions here. Starting off with Middle Tennessee State coming in. Listen, this isn't the easiest of opening games, but the Alabama Crimson Tide will have no problem whatsoever. I just say that because, Stocks, it's a good coached, well-coached team, Middle Tennessee State over there. They did go to Miami and beat them like a drum last year, but Alabama should have no problem, will absolutely overwhelm them with athleticism, strength, scheme on both sides of the ball. So 1-0 for Alabama. Texas. I think everybody out there is forgetting that Alabama is still Alabama. It is the trendy pick right now to go and pick the Texas Longhorns. I see people all the time over here on different media outlets saying that Texas is going to the playoff. Texas is going to, be back. Texas is going to come into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. Guess what? You have to show me that you can beat Alabama. You got your best shot when they were at your place last year in Austin, Texas, and you still couldn't get the job done. Alabama is going to be primed and ready. I don't care who the quarterback is. Alabama still is going to be better than Texas on both of the lines of scrimmage. I think Alabama playing at home is going to have a lot to prove, especially you got Jalen Milroe, I think, who will end up being the quarterback in this game. Texas has got to be proved that, hey, that defensively, they're going to have a plan for that. We know Sark is probably going to have a good opening script, and maybe Texas scores on the first drive or two, because Sark's able to scheme stuff up. But I'm just telling you right now, until Texas shows that they actually belong in the same conversation with SEC teams and specifically with Alabama, I do not have confidence in picking them to go on the road in Bryant-Denny Stadium and beat Alabama. No, Alabama is still a team that I think, people I don't know if they're a victim of their own success and they're comparing the standard to the different national title years or whatever, but Alabama is still plenty capable of winning this game. Give me Saban over Sark in game 2. I like this game is interesting just because you look at the there. Alabama going to USF. I made the joke. I was like, I don't know, is Saban looking to start a dealership in Tampa and wants to scope out the area down there? So he planned this trip down there, but that's an interesting schedule. But Alabama will beat South Florida and start 3-0. Ole Miss, get your popcorn ready. 2.0. They've got Ole Miss at home. Lane Kiffin, almost like Nick Saban's prodigal son, it seems, so to speak. They have a interesting dynamic there. There's nobody, I think, in the coaching industry that Saban likes more than Kiffin, but they're just totally different in how they go about things. I think Alabama is much more talented and will be much more consistent this year than Ole Miss. Give me Alabama to beat Ole Miss. Then they stay in the state of Mississippi for week 2, go to Mississippi State, and Alabama will win that contest as well. It's just been forever since Mississippi State has been able to pull off that victory, and I think Alabama will take care of business in that game. Now, I do think Alabama loses on the road to Texas A&M. There's just not a team in the country that plays Alabama better on a more consistent basis over the last few years than Texas A&M. I think with this game being at College Station, it'll be a tough environment for whichever first-time starter at quarterback it is for Alabama. And I think that defensive front for Texas A&M is one that can definitely match what Alabama has up front offensively. I think that'll be a loss for Alabama going to College Station. Listen, Texas A&M has tremendous talent out wide at the wide receiver positions that doesn't get enough talked about. I really like what they're able to do with Connor Wegman, having Bobby Petrino and Jimbo Fisher kind of putting their brains together to get some stuff done. So give me Texas A&M to win that one. Alabama bounces back at home with a win over Arkansas. I think Arkansas's got great talent in KJ Jefferson and Rocket Sanders, but I just don't think they have weapons on the outside that will threaten Alabama enough and be able to get people out of the box. They won't be able to run the football effectively because of that, and Alabama probably causes a couple turnovers and takes control of this game handily, probably in the third quarter, and then runs away with it. Alabama's going to beat Tennessee. Listen, there is no game probably that Alabama has circled more than the Vols coming to town, especially after the cigar smoking, goalpost throwing moment that was up in Knoxville, the people rushing the field, things of that nature. That one is seared into the memory of the members of the Alabama coaching staff, the Alabama team. They'll be ready to play in this one. It's going to be a little bit different environment for Josh Heupel and company than it was up in Knoxville with that sea of orange up there last year. I think that the Alabama crowd in this game will be as rowdy as any game all year. So give me the Crimson Tide to win that game when it comes to the Vols coming to town. Then I think Alabama's going to beat LSU at home. Listen, Bryant-Denny Stadium is not an easy place to go in and get victories. Do I think LSU could possibly overall be the more complete team this year just because I trust the quarterback position in Daniels and they have really good backup in Nussmeier? Yes, I think the receiving core is on par with Alabama's as well. But when it comes down to it, I think that Alabama at home, giving Nick Saban yet again another element of a revenge factor to point to off of that game in Baton Rouge last year, I really think that LSU's defense at times struggled last year to have some consistency, whether that was on the back end. Who knows what the front seven will look like at that point. We got to see how healthy everybody is. But I think over time, Tommy Rees, especially if Jalen Milroe is the quarterback, I think is going to get this running game going in such a way that they're going to have to really challenge that LSU front seven, and it's going to create some one-on-one matchups with those corners that LSU is not 100% certain about. A lot of new guys in the secondary. I think this is the game where Alabama makes some big plays through the air, and I'd like Alabama to win at home. Alabama at Kentucky. This is an interesting game because Alabama, of course, will just have come off that LSU game, and Kentucky will have come off of playing at Mississippi State. In a 3-week span, Kentucky plays Tennessee at home, at Mississippi State, and then Alabama. Alabama coming off that LSU game, that's going to be a physical game right before playing another physical team in Kentucky. I think this one's a very close game because of it being at Kroger Field and because of, just the nature of how Mark Stoops goes about preparing his football teams. I think they're going to be very, very good this year, but Alabama is going to win that one in the Bluegrass State. Chattanooga, Alabama wins. And listen, guys, the Iron Bowl, I just don't think this is Alabama's year for the magic, okay? Hugh Freeze has proven that he can, take care of business against Alabama when he was at Ole Miss. And now I think that the first year in the Iron Bowl, this is going to be Auburn, I think by this point, an opportunity to win an 8th game and really have some momentum going forward. I think crazy stuff happens in Jordan-Hare Stadium. And I think this is going to be one of those where something weird happens at the end, and it's going to be a classic Iron Bowl, and Alabama will finish the year 10-2 on the season. I do think that they'll fall just shy of winning the SEC West because of that 10-2 record. But this is an Alabama team that is going to answer a lot of these questions that people have about them. I don't think that the dynasty or the run or whatever is over. I don't think Saban's lost his fastball. I just think Alabama's a year away from being that dominant team once again. And this year I have them going 10-2 as the 2023 football season is upon us. So guys, leave your comments, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and we will catch you next time right here to talk more game-by-game predictions, reaction to SEC news, and also analysis of all kinds. So for everybody at Southeastern 14, I'm Blayne Gilmer, and we will catch you guys next time right here on Southeastern 14.